This House will come back to order. House will come back to order. Members will report back to the House chamber. Clerk will ring the bell. Clerk will read the caption to a group of privilege resolutions.
Honoring the life and memory of Scott Henry Wise. Commending Kristen Holloway, Fannin County High School's 2022 Star Student. Recognizing and commending Reverend Frank Edward Butch Jones on the occasion of his 50th pastoral anniversary. Recognizing and commending Representative Calvin Smyrie, recognizing and commending Oscar Hewlett on his outstanding public service as an environmentalist in Bacon and Jeff Davis counties, recognizing and commending the Chad Livesey Project, commending the Vietnamese American community of Georgia, and recognizing March 15, 2022 as Vietnamese American Community Day at the state capitol, recognizing and commending Mission Agape. Congratulating the North Clayton Middle School boys basketball team for being named the Clayton County Public Schools Championship for the 2021-2022 season. Recognizing October 15, 2022 as White Cane Awareness Day at the state capitol. Commending Marsha Collins, Liberty Point Elementary 2021 Teacher of the Year. Honoring Oakhurst Elementary School. Congratulating Decatur High School's mock trial team on winning the 2022 Georgia Mock Trial Championship. Congratulating the Cedar Grove High School's football team for winning the GHSA Class AAA State Football Championship. Commending Felicia M. Davis. Recognizing and commending Sarah Kenyon on her outstanding public service as an elementary principal and mentor coach for the Clayton County School District. Recognizing and commending Jamil Naquan Burton. Congratulating the Lumpkin County High School's ladies Indian basketball team for winning the 2022 GHSA Class 3A State Basketball Championship. And for other purposes, that completes the reading of the privilege resolutions.
Is there any objection to adopting the privilege resolutions? The chair hears none and the resolutions are adopted. All right, we're going back to the rules calendar. Going back to the rules calendar, the clerk will read the caption to Senate Bill 152.
Senate Bill 152 by Senator Robertson, the 29th, Dugan to the 30th, Miller to the 49th, Gooch to the 51st, Kennedy to the 18th, and others, to be entitled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 3 of Title 50 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating the state and other flags so as to add language to the Pledge of Allegiance to the state flag. This bill I refer to the Committee on Governmental Affairs. That committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chair recognizes Representative Gullett to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On your desk, you'll see a handout. It's our state seal. For my friend Representative Martin Montahan, this is not a coloring book. I know he wanted to color on it, but this bill changes the pledge of the Georgia flag by adding one word. That word is courage. Socrates, the Greek philosopher, sought to put into words what qualities the ideal state would possess. In Plato's work Republic, Socrates presented 4 cardinal virtues that serve as a bedrock for a peaceful and flourishing state. These 4 virtues are wisdom, justice, moderation, and courage. Now, if you recite to yourself the state pledge to the Georgia flag, you'll notice that one of these cardinal virtues is missing. I know a number of you, probably like me initially, were like, I didn't even know we had a state pledge. But we do. It goes, I pledge allegiance to the Georgia flag and the principles for which it stands, wisdom, justice, and moderation. Now back to those cardinal virtues: wisdom, justice, moderation, and courage. As you'll notice, our pledge was missing courage. I've lived in Georgia my entire life, and I can tell you that courage is not lacking in our state. There's no better time than now, in fact, to acknowledge that courage. When you look at what our state's weathered the last 2 years, when you consider the current state of the world, there couldn't be a more ideal time and place to ensure that value of courage is reaffirmed. So, a common question that comes up: doesn't this mean we'll need to change the state seal? The short answer is no, we do not. If you look at that handout I showed you earlier, you'll see the 3 pillars on the Georgia State Seal. These pillars represent the 3 of the 4 cardinal virtues: wisdom, moderation, and justice. However, if you look at the seal with fresh eyes, you'll also see a soldier with his sword drawn, ready to protect the Constitution of Georgia. This soldier represents courage. With this symbol of courage already in place in our seal, adding the word to our state pledge will require no changes. The cardinal virtues are incomplete without courage, and so is our state pledge to the Georgia flag. Happy to answer any questions.
You have a question? You have a few questions if you care to yield.
I'll take one and we'll go from there.
Well, how about Chair recognizes the Dean of the House, Dean Smyrie, to your left for a question.
Gentleman Yield.
Of course.
I listened to your explanation very carefully, and I just want to make sure I'm understanding. You're only doing it in the narrative aspect of it, but not on the seal itself.
So that's true. I would say the seal is already there. It's that soldier with the sword. So there's no change of anything.
Okay.
This is just a change to the pledge, and I'm just telling you that the seal already has courage on there by being that soldier with the sword.
Oh yeah, but it's not, the word courage is not.
It's not going to be there. We're not changing anything but the pledge.
Okay, that's what I was trying to. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the passage of Senate Bill 152. The ayes are 125. The nays are 23. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to Senate Bill 565.
Senate Bill 565 by Senator Strickland of the 17th, Kirkpatrick of the 32nd, Jones of the 22nd, and others, to be entitled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 10 of Title 17 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to procedure for sentencing and imposition of punishment, so as to provide that at any time after conviction for a misdemeanor or felony offense, a defendant convicted of an offense and sentenced as a direct result of being a victim of trafficking for labor or sexual servitude may petition the sentencing court to grant the relief. This bill having been referred to the Committee on Judiciary Non-Civil, that committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chair recognizes Representative Hagan to present the bill.
Mr. Speaker. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you had a good lunch break. I'm bringing to you Senate Bill 565. This was Chairman Brian Strickland's bill. This bill is another good step in the work that's been done here at the Capitol to address the heinous human trafficking problem that plagues our state and our country. Currently, Georgia Code allows for vacating of sentences for victims of trafficking if they can show that the crime was committed as a direct result of being trafficked. This bill makes two changes to the code. It eliminates the waiting period for applying to have the sentences vacated. Currently, the waiting period is 6 months for misdemeanors and no earlier than 1 year following completion of sentences for felonies. This bill would change that to say that a victim may apply for vacatur at any time following their conviction and sentence instead of having to wait. Also, this bill confirms where the money comes from if there are fines or fees that need to be reimbursed to the defendant if the sentences are vacated. The bill says the defendant will be reimbursed out of the Georgia Crime Victims Emergency Fund, and that money will be replaced back into that fund by the entity that originally received it from the defendant. So that is the bill, Mr. Speaker.
You have a question if you care to yield.
I will yield for one question.
Chair recognizes Representative LaRicchia to your right for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentlelady yield?
I do yield.
Now, is this your first bill? I'm trying to remember. If
It is. Thank you for pointing it out also.
Well, I just wanted to see if I could get people awake after lunch, but is it not true that you might have an opportunity to invite your colleagues to the Vidalia Onion Festival? I believe that's April the 21st through the 24th.
It is. Those are the correct dates, and I plan to do a morning order maybe later this week on that. But I appreciate you pointing out
Good
because
bill.
we do invite all of you to Vidalia for the Onion Festival. But thank you, Mr. Speaker. I do ask for your favorable consideration of this bill, and I yield the well.
Lady has yielded the well. Is there any objection? Oh, got another member that wished to be heard. Chair recognizes Chairman Burchett to speak to the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I should have waived, but because I know my colleague did a fantastic job of explaining this bill. But this is just updating our statute to allow for quicker justice for people that have been charged with a crime while under the undue influence of human trafficking. I ask for your favorable consideration. Congratulations on your first bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of Senate Bill 565. The ayes are 151. The nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. You think that's because you did a good job, right? Now they're just wanting you to bring some onions up here. I can tell you what that's about. Clerk will read the caption to Senate Bill 438.
Senate Bill 438 by Senator Tippins, the 37th, Dugan, the 30th, Miller, the 49th, Strickland, the 17th, and others, being entitled an act to amend Article 2, Chapter 10, and Title 13, the official code of Georgia annotated relating to retention of contractual payments and creation of escrow accounts on contracts for the installation, improvement, maintenance, or repair of water or sewer facilities. This bill having referred to the Committee on Judiciary, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chair recognizes Chairman Gunter to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of the House, Senate Bill 438 adjusts retainage amounts in public works construction contracts. It brings Georgia in line with our neighboring southern states. Under current law, state and local government can keep 10% retainage until a project is 50% complete, and then zero retainage thereafter. This law penalizes early construction providers who complete their work prior to the 50% completion. Senate Bill 438 has a flat 5% retainage threshold for all providers for the life of the project. And all the construction groups that are involved in this approve of this bill. And I'll yield for any questions.
You do not have any questions.
Thank you.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of Senate Bill 438. The ayes are 151, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to Senate Bill 337.
Senate Bill 337 by Senator Walker, the 20th, Gooch, the 51st, Kirkpatrick, the 32nd, Anna Duarte, the 31st, and others, be entitled an act to amend Chapter 5 of Title 45, the official code of Georgia annotated relating to vacation of office, so as to provide for the suspension of compensation for certain public officers who are suspended because of indictment for a felony. This bill having referred to the Committee on Government Affairs, that committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chair recognizes Representative Gullett to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Bring to you guys Senate Bill 337. This is a companion bill to the Senate Resolution 134 that we passed last year and was signed by the governor. This resolution will be on the ballot in November. So what this bill does is it addresses a problem I've seen back home in Paulding County, and I'm sure many of you have seen in your hometowns as well. It will make it so when a local public official is indicted for a felony by a grand jury and is subsequently suspended by the governor, that their pay will be suspended as well. If they are reinstated to office, they are entitled to their back pay. Mr. Speaker, this bill is simple and straightforward. Happy to answer any questions anyone may have.
You have a question if you care to yield.
I will yield.
Chair recognizes Representative McLeod to your left for a question.
Does the gentleman yield?
I do.
Okay, so overall, this bill is pretty good. What I'm concerned with is that if there is someone that's in the position or there was an election and you've got somebody new and you're going to reinstate this person, that if something went, they were wrongly accused, then you might have a situation where there's two people in the same position. how is that going to be handled?
Yeah, so this bill actually doesn't affect the reinstatement piece. This is only the compensation piece. And we clarified about reinstatement as far as the, if I was in office and I had a remainder of four months in my office or whatever, and I didn't run for re-election, someone else has now gotten that seat, and the charges took a year to adjudicate, and I was found innocent, and I would get back pay for those remaining 4 months that I was going to have been in office. So it's not putting someone, actually, it's not reinstatement from a standpoint of them back into office as far as this legislation is concerned. This is reinstatement from, I would have served this amount of time, I get back pay for that. It doesn't put someone back into office, though.
And this is strictly for payment, compensation, it's got
That's
nothing.
correct, strictly for compensation.
You have no further, you do have another question. Do you yield?
I'll yield for one more. Yes, sir.
Chair recognizes Representative Bruce up in the gallery to your right.
Will the gentleman yield?
I will.
Just want clarification. This person is going to be punished before they've been convicted of anything. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, it's not punished. They're suspended. They're no longer in the office. And so a committee has gotten together, recommends to the governor that this person can't fulfill their duties because of the felony indictment that they have. The governor has then chosen, which is in May, the governor has then chosen to remove this person from office, suspend them from office. And I think the reality is most of the time the person self-suspends themselves because they don't want that. And so they don't get paid during that time period that they're not able to serve. If they get reinstated from a standpoint that things get adjudicated, they can get their back pay. But I don't think it's a punishment. I think it's just a reality of where we are when this is happening. Mr. Speaker, I appreciate the time. I hope you guys will support this measure, and I yield the will.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the passage of Senate Bill 337. The ayes are 149, the nays are 4. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to Senate Bill 332.
Senate Bill 332 by Senator Albers, the 56th, Dugan of the 30th, Miller of the 49th, Kirkpatrick of the 32nd, and others, being entitled an act to amend Chapter 1 and Title 10 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to selling and other trade practices so as to provide for certain disclosures by third-party high-volume sellers of consumer products. This bill has been referred to the Committee on Judiciary. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chair recognizes Chairman Houston Gaines to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Pleased to present Senate Bill 332 this afternoon. In this state and across the country, we've seen an issue with organized retail crime, and this measure is designed to try to address that. Last year, we had a measure in the General Assembly that did really important work to make organized retail theft a felony crime in this state. This measure adds to that by making sure that our online marketplaces, a lot of times what will happen is organized retail criminals will go in and steal a bunch of unused and new material from our retailers, and then they'll go and sell it online. So what this measure does, it's a simple, good pro-consumer measure that ensures that our online marketplaces are collecting information from the third-party resellers. So if you go on Amazon, sometimes you're buying your product from Amazon, but sometimes you're dealing with a third-party reseller. And what this bill does is it ensures that Amazon and other marketplaces are collecting information from those resellers, those third-party resellers. Additionally, for high-volume resellers, it requires that they also disclose certain information to consumers, like an address and a way to get in contact with them if there's an issue with the purchase. Mr. Speaker, that's what the measure does. Be happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Do you yield for questions?
I will.
Chair recognizes Representative Momdahan to your right for a question.
Does the gentleman yield?
I will.
Isn't it true that this would only capture the sale of new and unused goods, and this would not capture those craft, creators on Etsy and other websites like that?
It would only be new and unused goods. That's correct.
Thank you.
Do you further yield?
I'll yield for one more, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Representative Rebecca Mitchell to your...
Vaguely right.
Oh, up in the gallery, yeah.
There you are.
Hi. My question is actually follow-up on the previous. Etsy sellers are often making new and unused products, and I know last year when we had this bill, we got a tremendous amount of feedback from folks because 200 of a small item can be made by someone who's working in their own home,
Sure.
supporting their home income. Those products are often new and unused. Will folks who are making small volume products to support a family have to reveal their own home addresses?
So one, on the home addresses, no. If you only have a home address, there is language in the bill to address that, that you would provide the city, and there would need to be some contact information. Also, you wouldn't have to provide your home phone number, for example, but an email address, and there's language in the bill that does address that concern. If it is new and unused, it would apply, but they do have to sell a certain amount. It has to be a high volume reseller, and so but I do feel like we've captured that issue so that you're not having to give your home address and those sort of things. Thank you for the question. And Mr. Speaker, I will yield the well and ask for the body's favorable consideration on Senate Bill 332.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. What purpose does Representative McLaurin rise?
Parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Speaker.
State your inquiry.
Mr. Speaker, isn't it true that I applaud this measure, and in the interest of being fair, if we're going to complain about increasing penalties and sentences on the one hand, it's important to applaud when the majority does something that's a common sense administrative response to crime that can limit the amount of crimes that exist without unduly expanding our criminal justice system. Is that not true, Mr. Speaker?
I'm so not used to hearing you say nice things about the majority that I'm having to let it absorb. What purpose does Representative Gravely rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Is it not true that that message was paid for and approved by McLaurin for Senate?
There have been a whole lot of those that have been. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the passage of Senate Bill 332, the ayes are 155. The nays are 4. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. I'm going to ask all members to take your seats. All members, take your seats. Chair recognizes Representative Walensky for a special order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Hello, representatives. How did I end up here? It was always funny to me when I was running for office. I had a whole group of Dunwoody high schoolers ask me, were you in Young Democrats? What'd you grow up doing? And I didn't even think about it till about 2010 or 11, where I was invited down here by GTLA for Lawyers of the Day. So I don't know how I ended up here. But the last 7 years have truly guided me to be here. 2015, 2016, I was at an Anti-Defamation League jurisprudence lunch, and I'll never forget, I was waiting for my car, and I looked to my left, and there was Governor Barnes. And I said, I may run one day. And then I'll never forget that the next year, exact same location, exact same spot, waiting for my car, I looked to my left, and Governor Barnes was there again. And that's crazy. And I said, Governor Barnes, I'm actually thinking of running. He said, well, come have lunch with me. And I've had lunch with him several times a year, and since then, and I've had such an opportunity by being in this house to meet with some of the most brilliant minds and amazing people. And after I met with Governor Barnes, one thing that Governor Barnes said that I always thought was pretty funny. He says, attorneys in general are crazy. Plaintiff attorneys who do injury, wrongful death work like us are crazy. You're even crazier. But then to be a state representative on top, you are the craziest. I don't think he was talking about me, but maybe. But after Governor Barnes and I decided to run, what was even more amazing is a young man at Dunwoody High School. He had just started the Dunwoody High School Young Democrats, the club, and he introduced me to all of them. And when we ran for office, as a group, we knocked on 53,000 doors, the same 13,000 doors about 4 times. And it was that group of students and all of the people in the 2018 election who knocked on doors during that time who helped me change that seat. Went from Republican to Democrat, and that year in 2018, 14 of us flipped seats, and it's an amazing honor to be a part of that class. So I definitely want to thank all of the people who knocked on doors, who supported me financially. That year we raised $262,000, knocked on 53,000 doors, and it was a lot of work. I started working in February, call time 10 hours a week, and then to knocking on doors. And that's something I'll really miss about the State's House, is all of the relationships formed, coming here every day and seeing y'all, and just having fun conversations, horrible conversations, funny conversations, and that's the part that keeps us coming back. One of the first notes I wrote when I was going to give this speech was that Chairman Mary Margaret Oliver didn't talk to me for the first year I was here. I may not be true, but since then, we have become amazing friends. She is incredibly brilliant, wise. We love playing golf together, and it's been an honor to be here with you and learn from you. I knew, second I'll say Speaker Ralston. Speaker, it's been an amazing honor. If you've never heard Speaker tell a joke, he is a very funny man, and he's a great man. And the thing that's always I've noticed is he's the Speaker of the House, and I understand he is elected by one party, and you never know, that may change at some point. But the truth is that the Speaker does represent all, and I'm very grateful for his service and any Speaker that comes. But I knew was also very lucky in my first term at the Capitol when my mentor was Representative Al Williams. He was put to be my mentor. He's not here right now. One of the reasons I'm leaving. No, I'm just kidding. No, but as y'all know, I would love to spend more time with him than I did, but you don't have to spend time from Rep. Al Williams to learn too much, because you hear about it on the House floor. He's an espresso shot. He's a boost of serotonin. When I'm getting down, you hear him speak, and you feel better. And every time I had a conversation with him, it's such an amazing thing. Dean Smyrie, it's been an honor to serve with you. I've learned so much from you, learned how to be a great Democrat, how to work with both sides. I loved telling you I was going to say something, you would say, don't say that, and I wouldn't. But it's been a true honor, and having your friendship has been amazing. I want to thank Spiro for all of his hard work. Betsy, I've made, well, first of all, Spiro, I never know what he means because he's incredibly sarcastic towards me, but he has been an amazing help and works incredibly hard, and he's one of the hardest working people down at the Capitol. Betsy, I've noticed this year that whenever the speaker's up there, if y'all notice, I don't know if y'all noticed, but she does an amazing job, but she is the captain of the ship. She is leading, and it's amazing that even when I text her sometimes at 10:30 to be like, hey, morning order, she's like, no, that's tomorrow in the morning. But you always responded, and you do an amazing job. She's laughing because, yes, that happens. Chairman Alan Powell, still, oh, he's here. All right, two in one day. But Chairman Powell, I got to serve on regulated industries this year, and I would spend time sitting in his office, and I would learn so much. And, you know, about life. Nobody at home is going to know why y'all are laughing. But, you know, Dean Smyrie, you asked him a question, and there's a couple sentence answer, and those couple words are actually paragraphs when you think about it and go back and listen. Chairman Alan Powell is amazing with speaking, amazing with words, and I learned so much about so many things that go on in Georgia, and I just want to thank him for letting me be on regulated industries, and it's been amazing. You know, when I first served here was Leader Trammell, and that was an amazing experience. We have Leader Beverly, and after this term, looking at leadership and seeing how much work is, I want to thank y'all. I can't imagine why y'all do that on top of everything else. It's just amazing what y'all do. I want to thank the DeKalb delegation, Chairman Carla Drenner. That's once again amazing job, and it's been a joy becoming your friend. If y'all want to learn politics, move to DeKalb and be in the DeKalb delegation in 2018. I mean, I think it's the only time in Georgia history that there was a headline or in the newspaper where somebody called me Representative Chicken Shoot, and that was my nickname for a while. That was impressive stuff. But DeKalb delegation was an amazing lesson on politics, amazing lesson on learning about people, how to work with people, agree with people. And so I wrote down, you know, leadership isn't easy, you know, and I hope the power of love, the power to look out for people will overcome the love of power. And when I've been grateful for this opportunity, and I've been able to work with both sides. And you know, I've learned I don't have to give up my values to work together. You don't have to give up values to be kind. You don't have to give up values to be respectful. Last week, there was one guy who comes down our lot for one organization who isn't happy with Israel. And, but he was waiting to speak at one of the committee hearings. And I go, what bill? And I said, I'm against that bill too. And we both literally jumped, high-fived to go, yes! And everybody turns to the hallways and go like, what's going on? But it just showed that somebody who's been against what I've looked at for 3 years, that moment we were together. And it was such a cool moment, we were so excited. And I mean, just, that's what it's about. I say, you know, you have to know your enemy, but what I learned here in the Capitol, once you really get to know somebody, even when their views are painful, frustrating, or maybe just annoying, they are not your enemy. And that's the amazing thing down here. And I don't know if I learned that as an attorney. You know, as an attorney, we go to depositions, we go to trial, and you fight, but then afterwards you'll go have lunch or have a drink, and you're able to do that. I'm getting through it. We're moving pretty fast. And so I wrote down here is just one thing I hope is everybody here will spend more time getting to know each other, your families, your hobbies, because I've gotten to know a lot of y'all, and that's when good legislation happens. is because y'all are working together on things that are really important about families and all of that. To my dinner crew, y'all know who you are. It's been a pleasure learning from all of y'all. A lot of y'all are my mentors, and I really appreciate that. I had circled here, age is great, it's just inconvenient. I don't know, that was in there. I want to thank the photographers, Ben and Katie. Smug Mug will be smaller now that I'm gone, so that's cool. Let's see. And so one of the biggest things that I think has changed is when I first came down here in 2011-12 is that it was always said Georgia legislature is different than the federal government. It's different that we work together, we get things done. And, you know, we're seeing a little change. Maybe it's due to the empowerment ever, but that's changing slightly. And just my hope as we go is that everybody starts working together, and that doesn't change, that the parties don't come on the House floor more separate. There's a song that said, there's a battle line being drawn, and nobody's right if everybody's wrong. And my view has always been that, you know, here we need to do legislation that does healthcare, education, transportation, help small businesses, help the elderly, help the sick, help the needy and children, and I hope that continues, and I hope politics doesn't get in the way. And I became a state rep after getting involved with GTLA and then being involved with the Anti-Defamation League, their hate crimes bill. And through what I learned in the Anti-Defamation League, mainly the rise of anti-Semitism, I wanted to run for my children, to make a difference for my children. And a mentor of mine, an attorney, said, when you have children, you know, you're their parents for 18 years. And I came down here for them, and now I need to be there for them. I need to be with them and teach them all of the lessons I have learned. And decisions are really easy when you choose what's best for your children. And I wrote here, what I've learned also is you can't be mad at legislation, or you can be mad at legislation. But I've learned it's sometimes hard for me mad at the person carrying the bill. Now, don't get me wrong, there are a few down here that make that easy. But what I mean is I know them as a person. And while their view on one or more issues is different, I can't be mad at them because I know they're here for the same reason. I'm here. I believe the majority of us are all here for the same reason, and I've seen that and I've learned that no matter where you're from or what you're doing, you're here for your family, for your children, for your friends, what you believe is right, to make lives better. And how can you be mad at a person who has the same motivations as you? I made a note here based on some things this year. If you read the books that everyone is reading, you can only think what everybody else is thinking. So, you know, as a state, I hope we let people learn and learn different things so people can learn to be different. Your beliefs don't make you a better person. How you treat others who are different than you does. I wrote that. So I'm almost done. So anyways, I'm gonna miss all my friends here. I'm gonna miss the apple fritters in the ante room. I won't gain 20 pounds next year, which will be good. I want to thank GTLA, who are always fighting for the 7th Amendment right to trial and keep a good trial system, and it's amazing their support of me. And we only have 25 attorneys about in the State House, so hopefully we'll pick up some more. That's vital. Two things I'll miss is when you ask Representative Williams, how's your day going? He'll say, best day of my life. If you ask Chairman Powell, how's your day going? How are you doing? He'll say, better than I deserve. I love both of those. I want to thank Rabbi Heller, Rabbi Cernovitz, Rabbi Zimmerman, Rabbi Spike for all their support of me, to all the rabbis. I am definitely just a turtle on a ledge. And last couple of things is, you know, this has been an amazing experience for me. It's, an attorney and politician saying they're almost done, right? Nah. But I bookended my time. It's been an amazing experience. My first term down here, session, I got to vote on the hate crimes bill. And we passed the anti-BDS bill. This year we have an anti-Semitism bill going through, I really hope. And with last week, the formation of the Georgia-Israel caucus, that was a great bookend, and I hope you all will join. In the 4 years I've been here, I feel like I've aged 20. It's been rewarding, difficult, fun, frustrating, happy, exciting, miserable, and some of the most thrilling years of my life. But that's what it's all about. You can't have the good without the bad, ups and downs, and I commend all of y'all who serve and have those extremes with me and will continue those. And during session, it could happen 20 different times, 20 different ways. I am grateful for all of you, for your service, for your willing to sacrifice and deal with all of those up and downs. And thank you all for all you've done for me, with me, and for the state. And I yield the well. Thank you.
So we have no birthdays today. We do have some announcements. Chair recognizes Representative Gamble for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock in 133, we'll have our last fellowship meeting. So if you hadn't been all year, this is your last chance to come. Hope to see you in the morning.
So, Representative Walensky, you have an announcement.
It's a short announcement. Just kidding. Please, I'll have the sign up for the Georgia Israel Legislative Caucus. Please sign up. Thank you.
And Al Williams got here just under the wire. Chair recognizes Representative Williams for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Tomorrow at about 12, I know we'll probably still be in with the Commanding General of Fort Stewart, the Deputy Commander and Garrison Commander, and several representatives of Fort Stewart, and the 3rd ID will be on the 2nd floor. Love for you to come by and say hello, and he'll do a press conference about 12:15. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Chairman Setzler for an announcement.
The Setzler Subcommittee of Judiciary and Non-Civil will meet at 3:30 today. The announcement was for 3. We'll actually meet at 3:30 today in room 403 to take up Senate Bill 10.
Chair recognizes Representative Gamble for another announcement.
House Economic Development and Tourism Committee will meet this afternoon at 3 o'clock in room 406 CLOB.
That completes our announcements. The chair recognizes the Majority Leader of the House for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move that this House stand adjourned until 10 a.m. Tuesday, March the 29th, 2022.
The Majority Leader has moved that this House be adjourned until Tuesday, March 29 at 10 a.m. All those in favor of the motion will say aye. Aye. Those opposed will say no. No. The ayes have it. This House will be adjourned until Tuesday, March 29 at 10 a.m.